Good morning, Officer Rosa. Are you with us? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Officer Rosa.
Yes, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Perfect, so we're gonna get started. So I am Parole Officer Chisella. I'm a hearing examiner for the Board of Pardons and Paroles. And this is a revocation hearing concerning Karan Johnson Christopher, inmate number 439729. Today's Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, and this hearing is being conducted via video at the Board of Pardons and Paroles Central Office and Robinson Correctional Institution. Can you please state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record? I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. Christopher, we're talking to you.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Can you state your full name and DOC inmate number for the record, please?
439729.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Karan Johnson Christopher, 439729.
Thank you. Because it's a public hearing and public access to this hearing is available via video live stream. And present this morning is Attorney Sirica and Parole Officer Rosa. Attorney Sirica, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Sure. Attorney Alfonzo Sirica, Public Defender with the Parole Revocation Unit.
And Officer Rosa, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Yeah, Parole Officer Jamie Rosa.
Thank you. This is a revocation hearing to determine whether you have violated the conditions of your release. I will review and make findings as to the findings of facts as to each of the charges against you. The state, not you, has a responsibility to prove the allegations by a preponderance of evidence, and that is the better or weightier evidence must establish that more probably than not, the allegation is true. If I do not find that there's a preponderance of evidence to support a violation of one or more of the conditions of your parole, I will reinstate your parole, which means releasing you and placing you back on parole supervision. If I find that you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, I will consider whether or not your parole should be revoked. And if I recommend revocation, I will make a recommendation as to the appropriate sanction. A recommendation will then be given to a panel for a final decision. And if the panel wishes to impose a sanction beyond my recommendation, a supplemental hearing will be provided to justify additional confinement. You should know that a revocation hearing is an adversarial proceeding, and anything you say at this hearing can be used against you, and this hearing is being recorded. The testimony at today's hearing will be taken under oath. So Mr. Johnson Christopher and Officer Rosa, can you both please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear, solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God or upon penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. So we're going to go over the procedure for the hearing. So first, I'm going to read you your rights. Then we're going to review the parole violation charges that the state your parole officer is bringing against you. Then I'll review and identify exhibits filed for the record. The state will have an opportunity to present all relevant testimony subject to cross-examination and any relevant documents. After the state is finished, you'll have the same opportunity. After the consideration of all the evidence presented, I will announce my findings. And if I find you have violated one or more of the conditions of your parole, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history. And after the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. Do you have any questions about the purpose or procedure before we begin?
No.
So you do have rights for this hearing, and we're going to review them now. The first right is you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and counsel is here present for you. You have the right to receive a written notice of the charges of violation. Did you receive the written notice?
Yes.
Great. You also have the right to review the evidence against you before this hearing. You have the right to submit evidence in support of your case. And at this hearing, you also have the right to call and examine voluntary witnesses and cross-examine adverse witnesses. Do you understand these rights, and are you ready to go forward?
Yes.
So we're now going to review the charges that the state your parole officer is bringing against you and the information underlying each charge. Officer Rosa, can you please read the violation details for charge number 1, condition of obedience to the law?
Yes, on 10/30/2024, you were arrested by Fairfield Police and charged with assault third and breach of peace second. Charges stem from domestic violence incident with the female victim. Victim reported to police that you were having a verbal argument and that you grabbed her by her shirt and struck her in the face, left cheek with a closed fist. Police observed minor redness to the victim's left cheek.
Thank you. The state has also filed the following exhibits that have been pre-marked for identification purposes. Officer Rosa, can you please read the evidence you've submitted?
Oh, I don't think I have that in front of me. I just printed the
I don't have a problem
violation.
if you're reading it.
Okay, all right, then I'm gonna go over them. So I have Exhibit A, parole conditions, Exhibit B, remand to custody, Exhibit C, the notice of parole violation, Exhibit D, the parole violation report, Exhibit E, the Fairfield Police report, and Exhibit F, the Connecticut Judicial Branch pending case details. In addition, the state has also filed an addendum to the parole violation report on November 26, 2024. Officer Rosa, do you have the addendum to read?
Yes.
No? Okay, can you please read the addendum you submitted?
On 11/22/2024, offenders' criminal charges under docket F-028-CR24-035-9741/S were disposed. Offender pled guilty to assault third and was sentenced to 5 months jail. Concurrent with other cases, the charge of breach of peace second was nollied.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson Christopher, did you receive the notice of parole violation, the parole violation report, and all the other documents that have been marked for identification purposes?
Yes. Yes.
And were you able to review all of this information?
Yes.
In addition, I've received a list of exhibits from the defense. I have Exhibit 1, the list of parole accomplishments and future plans for parole reinstatement. Exhibit 2, a basic high school diploma. Exhibit 3, a certificate of completion achievement of a hospitality operation technology, which is 4 pages. Exhibit 4, certification of completion of rage, advance, and stress management course. Exhibit 5, a certificate of completion for repairing the past, preparing the future in rage. Exhibit 6, a certificate of participation in smart recovery and poetry in motion. Exhibit 7 is a certificate of participation in goals group. See it, speak it, believe it. And Exhibit 8, certificate of achievement, which is credit awareness and motivation for life. Counsel, do you and your client need any additional time to submit other evidence?
No.
So say we have no witnesses. So at this time, it is the state's opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to the evidence submitted. Officer Rosa, would you like to make any statements towards the charge?
No, I have nothing to add.
Yeah. And Attorney Sirica, it is now your opportunity to call any witnesses, present evidence, and speak to the charges.
Yeah, just briefly regarding the charge, I have no issues with the addendum that parole officer Rosa put on the record. That is the correct addendum regarding the disposition of the case on November 24th, where my client received a 5-month sentence. The only thing I do want to add, I know this is labeled as a domestic. There is a Fairfield Police Department case incident report, which its evidence is marked exhibit letter E. And on the 4th page, my client does speak to the police about the incident. He didn't flee, and his version of events was there was an incident, but it was not with the female victim. It was with the male victim who was with the domestic. As I indicated, he's charged. It's labeled as a domestic incident, and I just want you to know for the record that my client did speak to the police, and he did indicate to the police that his issue and the incident occurred with the male victim, not the female victim. That's my client's version of events. But as I indicated, I agree with P.O. Rosa regarding the disposition from court on November 22nd. That's all I have regarding the first part. I do want to be heard about my client's background at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you. Before I announce my findings, I'm just going to take a moment. All right, so on charge number 1, I do find that you violated the condition of obedience to the law based on your conviction of assault third, when you were sentenced to 5 years in jail. In addition, the evidence provided to support the charge was Exhibit A, D, and E. So that does conclude the fact-finding portion of this hearing. Before I make my recommendation, the state will have an opportunity to speak to your background and history, and after the state is finished, you will have the same opportunity. And the purpose of this part of the revocation is to help determine what outcome I'll recommend. So Officer Rosa, would you like to make a statement?
No, I have nothing to add that's not in the, in the PVR.
Okay, thank you. So counsel, it is now your opportunity to make a statement regarding your client's violation, background, and history.
Yes, on behalf of Mr. Johnson Christopher, my client, he's 26 years old. He does have one child. As indicated by the parole officer, there was no misconduct prior to this incident that occurred back in October. Upon his previous release, he was sponsored by his mother, Ms. Johnson. I did actually speak to his mother yesterday. She is still the viable sponsor for my client. And I provided you with her address and phone number in the document we submitted. She's also indicated to us he has a job lined up at the Connecticut In-Home Assistance, which is located in Stratford. His mother works there also, and I just spoke to her yesterday, so he does have a job available to him there. He did graduate from Bassett High School, and you already did put on a record, so I'm not going to read these all again. But he's been in and out of the institution. He has made good use of his time, as you can see from all the certificates he's obtained. He did complete approximately half of the domestic violence classes, with the understanding once you miss two classes and you're removed either through a remand or don't finish, you have to start all over again. But he has started the Explore program. He, as I indicated, Ms. Johnson, her address in Bridgeport, phone number is listed in the document that I submitted. He does want to obtain his OSHA hours and reapply for the HVAC program at Port and Chester in Bridgeport. And as I indicated, he does have a job lined up with his mother. And that information is as recent as just yesterday. Karan, anything you want to add about your background or the plans for when you get out? And as I put on the record already, I actually personally spoke to your mother yesterday regarding she has a job lined up for you where she's employed and she wants to be your sponsor. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'll take a moment to review. I'll let you know my recommendation. So I have listened to the testimony today and I reviewed all the evidence provided. Based on that, I am going to recommend your parole be revoked and that you serve an approximate 1 year and 2 week period of confinement as a sanction with a no new re-parole date because your current sentence is November 14, 2025. So I'm going to present that to the board on January 16th. Yes, January 16th, 2025. And in the event they decide to lessen my sanction, I am going to recommend the following conditions: behavioral management program for domestic violence, no contact with your co-defendant James Estaba, no contact with your victim OF, a general no contact with TM, and a general no contact with LW or NP without your parole officer's permission. So those are my findings and recommendations. And like I said, I'm going to present them to the board on January 16th. And at that hearing, the board can lessen my recommended sanction or they can let it stand. That's all that can happen because they can't keep you longer, okay? Do you have any questions right now, Mr. Johnson, Christopher?
So that puts it at beyond the EOS?
Right now, that's your current EOS.
She matched it with your date, but it's going to the board. There's one other chance for them to review it on January 16th.
Yeah.
I thought my EOS was November 10th, 2025.
That is. Yeah. Should be, I'll match up because you're earning time. Just hold on. That's what I have also, Karan. I have 11:10.
Oh, I have 11:10 too. So I'll change it. So with the no new referral date as your current end of sentence is November 10th, 2025. So yeah, so as your EOS, that's what it is. Okay. So as you keep earning the rec time.
And just wait till it goes to the board on the 16th and we'll see what happens.
All right.
Okay. All right. This concludes the final revocation hearing for Mr. Johnson Christopher, and I'm going off the record. You're all set, Mr. Johnson Christopher.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you again, Karan. Let me see what happens at the board first.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.